Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on the latest transfer stories. We start with Franck Kessié as the Barcelona Stars representative have lashed out on exit rumors saying that it is unsubstantiated and very misleading. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then, secondly, talking about Clement Lenglet, as it has been reported that Barca have already given a letter of freedom to the Tottenham target, but the player is yet to sign as talks continue with Tottenham over a potential transfer. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Earlier today, Gerard Romero reported that Franck Kessié had agreed to leave Barcelona after having had talks with Xavi Hernandez. Following that, several other outlets and journalists also reported the news, claiming that the Ivorian would be on his way out. However, it has not gone down too well with the midfielders camp, who have dismissed the speculations and lashed out at the reports, calling them unsubstantiated and misleading. Talking to Instagram, Kessie's representative agency Ambition Group wrote, "Dear Gerard Romero, we have remarked for the umpteenth time that you have published unfounded news concerning one of our clients, Franck Kessié. Please, please stop publishing unsubstantiated and misleading information presented as news regarding our clients," they said. This is not the first time that Franck Kessie's agency has spoken out harshly against reports of him potentially leaving Barcelona this summer. Last month, when similar reports had emerged claiming that Kessie had accepted to leave Barcelona in the current transfer window, his representatives had branded it as fake news. Now, they have once again reacted with a very strong-worded message to the rumors of him possibly being on his way out of the club this summer. The 26-year-old joined Barcelona only last summer, but things did not go his way in his debut season as a regular spot in Xavi's starting 11 was beyond his reach. With Ilkay Gundogan also arriving recently, the situation will only get more difficult for Franck Kessié, and an exit will be well advised for him and the club as well. The midfield general is understood to be attracting interest from clubs in Saudi Arabia, while Inter Milan in Italy also remain keen. So it remains to be seen how the situation evolves in the coming days and whether Franck Kessie stays or leaves. Of course, Franck Kessie's future have been up in the air, with countless rumors, countless reports talking about the player's potential exit from Camp Nou. Yeah, it was yesterday when Gerard Romero came out and said Xavi have already discussed with the player finally and have told the player that he can leave the club if he wants to leave because next season he does not see him as part of his plans. And the report claims that Franck Kessie was open to that idea of leaving. And now we can see Franck Kessie's representative blasting those reports, blasting Gerard Romero to be specific that he should not be bringing out fake news as to their client. Of course, Franck Kessie, of course, is a player that I think many clubs would like to have him in their roster. Barcelona did have him in fact, Barca did sign him last summer as a free agent, sign him as a free agent, but things didn't go as planned. Despite having some opportunities, I think he played well, but Xavi have never really been convinced about the player. And I think Xavi have never seen him as a player that he really wants in his roster. And of course, it was inevitable that rumors like this start coming out about Franck Kessié being sold or stuff like that. Barcelona currently want 30 million for the player, according to new reports. And definitely, it's going to be very difficult for that to go through. So far, there have been clubs showing interest in Saudi Arabia, but none of them have been futile. Galatasaray as well in Turkey have shown interest, but are bet on a loan move, but Barca have rejected such proposals as the one by the permanent transfer for Franck Kessié, and their asking price is set at 30 million euros. But now that his representative have come out on Instagram and blast all those rumors about departure, like fake news, therefore it means if they are serious about what they said, it means Frank Kessié will stay at Barca. He will stay because had it been what Gerard Romero was saying about Frank Kessié was true, then I don't think they could have had any beefing on social media, beefing the journalists, which means that so far there's nothing concrete. There's nothing about Frank Kessié being leaving the club or imminent departure. I think Franck Kessié living at staying at Barcelona is still something that I would like because I think he's a quality player that many clubs would like to have, and I think we need that depth in our roster. We need to have depth. We need players in us in the bench. We need quality players if we want to compete Champions League, compete Copa del Rey, compete La Liga, compete for the treble. We need depth, and I think that just because of the financial issues that the club is going through, that is the tempting factor that is trying to push Barca to sell some of these players because they really need to register new signings. They need to buy players in certain positions to strengthen the roster. So let's see what happens in the future. Then on to the final story of discussion. According to a new report from Mundo Deportivo, Barca will not grant a letter of freedom to Clement Lenglet this summer and are in talks to finalize his transfer to Tottenham Hotspur. Barcelona have been working so hard to get rid of players that are not in manager Xavi Hernandez's plans. Having been unable to find suitors for Samuel Umtiti, the Catalans let him leave with a letter of freedom, that is by mutually agreeing a termination of contract. There had been chatter about a similar approach being followed with Lenglet as well, given his high wages, lack of interest from clubs, and the need to get rid of him. Tottenham, who are interested in Lenglet, were reported to be waiting for such a move from Barcelona so that they can swoop him up for free. However, as per the aforementioned report, Barcelona will not be following the same approach they took with Umtiti when it comes to Lenglet. Instead, talks are progressing with Tottenham over a transfer. The Catalans had been demanding a fee of 15 million euros for the French defender, but the deal is likely to be completed for a figure of around 10 million plus add-ons. Ideally, Barca would prefer to, finalize his deal at the earliest possible. However, things are unlikely to move that quickly, and the operation may take 2 weeks or even more. As such, Lenglet is expected to join pre-season camp, which is set to start on July 10. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.